Well, what's happening, everyone? Welcome back for another episode of the Chamber Podcast. I have an exciting show for you today. Joining me in studio is James Pless. He is a co-owner of My Wife's Candles. Welcome,
How you doing?
James.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's a great place you got here.
Thank you. Is co-owner accurate title? It's you and your wife, Jessica, right?
She's the only owner. They're My Wife's Candles.
I guess that makes sense. Your wife's candles, then you just, you're on the support team.
Yep. I'm the one that makes it all work on the outside of her making the candles.
I love it. So I want to hold this up just for a minute. Just if you're watching on video, if you're listening on Spotify, go check the video feed to see how intricate this candle is. It's super cool. And if you look at like the top down view here, these are just really unique. And for me, James, I just want to know, like, walk me through how this even came to be. Because candles, seems like everyone's got a candle. You know, someone gets super famous, whether it's a home remodeler or interior designer or major corporations, and they roll out, tens of millions, if not probably billions of candles a year. So tell me why the candle space and how this came about.
Well, my wife actually started working on these as a hobby. We have 3 kids under 4, and she wanted something to do when she's at home homeschooling them and not busy.
Hold on. I'm going to stop you right there. Wanted something to do when she's not busy.
Yeah.
So is that between like the hours of 2 and 5 in the morning?
Honestly, I have a little bit different mindset, and she has a little bit different mindset when it comes to how we raise our kids. We actually really enjoy being around them, and it doesn't really seem like that much work most of the time, especially when you have multiple kids that are around the same age. They tend to play with each other and keep each other busy.
I gotcha.
And we're blessed to have a lot of family involved, so when we have a newborn, Grandma watches her.
Understood. So I'm sorry. Carry on. I was just maybe laugh. 3 kids under 4, and in my free time.
Yep. So she started as a hobby August of 2023. She just did a great job. Even at the beginning, if you saw some of her candles from when she first started and when she done them now, you're like, wow, they looked amazing then. But it's just crazy how far she's come. We paused it after I made some investments in the business because of the birth of my 3-month-old daughter. And then we just restarted it back up July 26th due to having a conversation with Jason Tracy from the Roar podcast. I've been out there looking for a coach, some consultation to learn how to be a better business owner, a better husband, better father, just a better man in general. And through speaking with Jason, he told me that normally what he does is help people get excited about what they are already doing. But I'm already excited about something. He realized that, the job you're doing now with the IT, when you talk about it, you don't seem excited. But when you talk about your wife's candles, you are excited. And so I realized, you know what? You're 100% right. I talked to my wife. That night around midnight, we decided we're going to start our business. So I got in my car and I drove the length of Grand River between Howell and Brighton, looked at every single retail location that they had, didn't find anything I necessarily liked. We looked at a few things. And then we got really lucky. I found a location on Old 23 and East Grand River in Brighton in the same plaza as the Tropical Smoothie Cafe. It's shaped like an L. And so we're right here in the pit of the L. We have no road signage. We have no building signage, but we do have a lot of great people in our community who will support us.
I love it. So on that story, so you guys decided at midnight. So at midnight you got in the car and went driving, or was that a separate event?
At midnight that night. I'm a little when I want to do something, I pursue it until there is a wall that cannot be overcame. But other ones that can be overcame, I push them over.
So walk me through kind of the business plan for how you guys are rolling this out to people.
So initially what we're starting to do is we've been at a few different shows. So we were at the Novi State Fair. We were at the Howell Melon Fest, which was an amazing show. We were at the Novi Smoking Jazz and Barbecue Fest. We also had our other business sponsored the payment tent there to take people's payments. But we've just had so much fun just doing the shows around here. I think that Livingston County really likes our product, and I think that they're going to be super excited once we open the store. October 1st is when we're opening. We're going to have our ribbon cutting that afternoon. It'll be pushed out through all the chambers as well.
Fantastic. So October 1st, ribbon cutting. We'll make sure those details are in the show notes. Talk to me about the candles. How are they constructed? What makes them different?
With the candles, we take any kind of container and we can put a candle in there as long as they have the proper glass and the proper mouth, which would be the opening on the container. So every single container that we use has to be wick tested to make sure that the candle burns properly, burns all the wax down on the sides, and doesn't actually break the container. Because if it burns too hot, then you're going to have a problem with the container cracking or smoking. So after we've picked out our containers and we've wick tested the containers, my wife decides, well, we've got a couple of different fragrances. For instance, this one here is wild berry cheesecake. And what she does is she decides how she wants the decoration to look for that scent. And she'll come up with a couple different designs for her candles. She won't just use one design for the same scent. She'll have, for instance, this one here, we actually have a cheesecake that will go on top of it in a different container. This one here just happens to have the crumble, the syrup, and the fruits.
All wax.
All wax. Everything melts.
That's
and
super cool.
for this candle here, for instance, there's actually 3 different types of wax. There's what's called a container wax, which is down here, which we pour it out into a bar and then chop it up, and that's how we created the crumble. Mm-hmm. We also have a whip wax. That's how we create this whipped cream look. And then we have the syrup, which is another type of wax. It's called a gel wax.
So all handmade.
Mm-hmm.
And then how long does it take to make a candle?
That's the $1 million question, really.
Yeah.
Because that's your production line.
Right.
As far as how long, we normally apply a quarter-hour labor charge to each candle.
Gotcha.
And it just seems to cover everything pretty well.
Nice. And then, so as time goes on and demand increases,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to move away from handmade and go to more of an automated production? Is that even possible to do? Because it's so unique and intricate and
It's art.
detailed, you know.
It's art. You
Yeah,
can't
exactly right.
can't mass produce art, so you can only put up cheap replicas. Large companies have tried and failed miserably.
All the different scents, kind of give me a rundown of what your guys' SKUs are right now.
You can have mostly anything.
Okay.
We have bacon. We've got barbecue. We have cannabis flower. We have just really whatever smells. We can probably find a oil for it. We don't manufacture any of the oils ourselves. They have to be purchased in. You'd need very large facilities to create them, but we can pretty much make a candle that smells like anything.
I can see someone lighting the cannabis one and then lighting the bacon one after because they're very hungry.
Cannabis flower actually smells nothing like weed.
No?
No, it's amazing. It actually smells really good. It's like something you'd find in the garden.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, good. So tell me, give me a rundown of your goals of, Q4 and then going into 2025. What are you hoping to check off the list?
I want to build a large business that helps people around me. So my overall goal, I can't really define what my initial goals are right away because I think that they're all just financially related. So it's like, oh, I want to make $100,000. Okay, cool. Because I need money in order to grow my business to the point I want it to be. So if I was to say what my short-term goals were, I'd probably just say opening the store, making sure that other people in the community know about us, getting involved in our community more than we already are. But my long-term goal, and something I already actively do and have done with my businesses for the past 10 years, is find people who have massive potential but don't believe they do and help them to realize that and achieve their goals.
I love it. So where did this entrepreneurial passion come from?
Necessity.
Well, tell me more because I'll tell you, I know a lot of failed entrepreneurs who felt like it was necessity.
Yeah.
So there has to be more than that.
I can't work for other people outside of them being my customers. I've found that people put a ceiling on you too much when you work for them.
I see.
I have the potential to achieve a lot, but a lot of times a company will put you in a position and say, here are your guide rails. And I don't work well with guide rails.
Understood. Yeah, I can tell you certainly broke the mold with these candles.
Actually, we made the mold in order to create the candles.
All right, well, you know what I mean, figuratively. When I was looking at it, it's so beautifully designed. To use the word art, certainly is. It's just it looks cool. And then you had mentioned something too. I already forgot the term, but it smells great when it's not lit.
Yeah,
we've been sitting here for like 15 minutes, and I can smell it, and it hasn't even been lit.
So that's the best part about our candles. They're so nice you get to enjoy them twice. We didn't want you to have to pay $25 for an amazing looking candle that's just so cool. And the reason you bought it is because it looks good and it smells good, right? So we wanted to make sure that you have a decoration for a very long time. Every single wax has a certain percentage of oils that it can actually hold before it loses composition. We max ours out. I know that when you get into a larger company, say a Yankee or a Bath & Body Works, they're dealing with large amounts. They're trying to cut margins and create everything as cheaply as possible. So they might be putting a lower percentage of oil into their candles. We don't do that. We don't want to cut the corners in order to make a couple extra cents. We want you to actually get a product you enjoy. And so with our candles, the scent lasts so long just sitting in the room, it'll fill up the room for about 5 to 6 months. That's normally what I tell people, but I've gotten reviews back as far as Christmas of last year from someone as recently as a month ago. And then I got a review actually at the Smokin' Jazz and Barbecue Fest in Brighton from someone that got a candle from us in October. They said they still haven't lit it, and it still makes their room smell amazing.
Wow, that's super cool.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yeah, I love it. So are you guys doing it? I guess, what's your scent process like? When do you roll out a new one? How does that work? Where you're like, all right, now I want to have a bourbon flavored candle or whatever.
So right now we're in the chaos stage of planning our business. We haven't really create any main lines. We have ones that sell more than others, and we have ones that we'd like to create our main lines. But in order to create a main line in a creative process, you have to take some concessions, whether that be only using one container, which is what we've settled on. We've settled on using a container that is similar to this, shorter, wider, and that can have a lid on it. So that way we can put all of the art inside the candle and then cover it with a lid, and that's how we're going to be able to do our wholesaling process, is by having the art confined within a lid. Sorry, go ahead and back and say what your question was again.
No, I was asking just overall the process on creating different SKUs. How do you guys decide, okay, I want to roll out a bourbon candle or, whatever that may be?
So it's mostly right now, it is necessity based. So for instance, on this weekend, we're actually going to be at the DeVos Center at a Margarita Fest. We purchased in 4 different margarita based scents, and we also have other drinking scents like pina colada. We have a couple of different martini scents, some wine. We have a bourbon, actually, 2 bourbons. And so what we'll do is when we have different events, we'll go out there and purchase scents that are just for that event. They probably won't come around again unless people like them so much that we make them part of our main. But as far as how we create our scents, we just pick them when we need them. Like we have a couple of Oktoberfest up in Canterbury Village that we're going to be doing. So we purchased in a bunch of different Halloween and Oktoberfest related scents.
Being that you guys are so new and, I imagine it takes a minute to spin up inventory, do you find yourself getting to the point where, all right, well, this is selling out, this is a bestseller, now we have to, put more resources into building more inventory, or are things staying pretty level?
Everything's level at the moment, just because we haven't fully gotten into the online sales in a big way, and we haven't opened up our store yet.
I gotcha.
So everything, we actually find very often that fragrance has a zip code for some reason. We'll create an awesome coffee candle, for instance. We'll take it to a show, won't sell but 2. And then we take it to the next show and we sell every single one of them. It's really interesting. Yeah.
And then if people are wanting to, jump in and order candles and be a part of the business, how do you recommend they do that?
So we're on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Everything's My Wife Candles, whether it be at My Wife's Candles or a different form. And we're also on mywifescandles.com.
Okay. Excellent. And then, so for the launch, it's October 1st. You know what time the ribbon cutting is?
The October 1st launch should be at around 4 o'clock. It'll be pushed out to all the chambers. I'll put it on social media. I'll also be inviting individuals as well.
Perfect. So make sure you check out the show notes for the podcast, and then also, follow along with the Brighton Chamber, and, Gavin and his team will ensure that everything's put out so you guys can stay apprised of all the ribbon cuttings in the area.
I want to add one more thing at the beginning of that.
Of course.
We're going to be having a large giveaway at our ribbon cutting.
What are we giving away?
We'll be giving away certificates that you can use at the purchase of a candle. We'll also be giving away a few candles as well.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, James, thank you so much, man. I certainly appreciate it. This is a super unique, very cool idea. Hats off to your wife, Jessica, on the artistry behind it.
Yep. Jessica does a great job.
Very good. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Chamber Podcast. We certainly appreciate you watching. Again, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, be sure to check out the YouTube video. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment. And then you can also subscribe and follow along for all the updates from the Chamber as well. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.